This is just a quick little disclaimer, guys. I'm not accusing EA of anything at all. I'm just giving my honest opinion on what I think is in the game and what isn't. So EA, please don't ban me if you see this. I'm not actually saying you're doing anything. I'm just, expressing my views on your game. So what's up, guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today's video is more of a discussion, like my opinion video, which we seem to do a lot on this channel. Today's video is going to be on the discussion of scripting and whether I think the game is rigged or not, and I'm going to be giving, many detailed reasons as to why I think what I do. But before we get into that, guys, I would appreciate it if you could drop a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new so you never miss out on any videos like this one, and also turn on notifications, because honestly, right, YouTube seems to think subscribing to people doesn't mean you want to see their content anymore. What they do is they actually they only send notifications out to a portion of the subscribers which they think will actually watch the video, which is completely stupid in my opinion. If you subscribe to a channel, you should get their content. But anyway, guys, to start things off, what is scripting, handicap, and momentum? Because they are all three different things, and they are three different beliefs which certain people seem to have in the community. Some people think there's scripting, some people think there's handicap, some people think there's momentum, and others think there's nothing there at all. So the first thing that people think there is scripting, which is the belief that a game is, decided before it starts to make one player win and one player lose. Some people believe there is something called handicap, which is something that will, make the better players worse. So, if you had a full icon team, like Rude Hullet Prime R9, it will actually downgrade your players if you're playing, against a full gold squad or something like that, or a meta team, to even the game out. And some people believe, if you're a higher skill level than someone else, like a higher rank in FUT Champions, then it will favor the other team, it will give them a boost or something like that. And momentum is something which I find quite difficult to explain, but essentially it's like if you're leading 2-0 in a game or something like that, the game will boost the other team, make their passes quicker, allow them to tackle your players really easily, make your players really slow, make sure every shot they take goes in, just to get the other player back in the game. And also it can be used to give you an even further advantage, so you could go 4-0 up in 20 minutes or something like that. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is breaking down each different part of scripting, handicap, and momentum which people think there is, and giving my opinion on why I don't think it's there. And that's right, I don't think it's there. Or maybe not in the ways other people think, which I will also explain. So let's talk about scripting to start things off. I personally don't think scripting exists in this game because it just doesn't make any sense. If games were scripted, then there's no way pros would be going 40-0, each week. There's no way I would be going 36 wins in the weekend league. I don't think scripting is a thing. I think it's mainly just an issue caused by people thinking that they're better than they actually are, and or not actually understanding the game fully. So for example, a guy could hit the post from 5 yards out with their player on their weak foot who has 2-star weak foot with 70 finishing. They'll say scripting, when in reality it's just the player's finishing is that bad with their weak foot as well, that they're not going to score that shot. On top of this, if there is these FUT Champions events where EA get the best players in the world to qualify for these events, why would they want their tournament to be fixed? Why would they want players that technically shouldn't be there to be there? Why wouldn't they want their best players to actually be at the tournaments? Because if they scripted their games, then it doesn't necessarily mean the better players will be there, meaning it's like a false tournament and the best players actually aren't winning the tournaments. Do you see what my point is? Even EA wouldn't want even EA wouldn't want the tournaments to have the worst players in them. I really can't explain this point, but it's EA want the best player to win the tournaments just as much as we do. I would just like to add, I'm not arguing with anybody which seems to think scripting is there, because, I've been through days, many days actually, where I've had weekend league rage and I've thought the exact same things as you, but then when I seem to calm down a bit, I understand that that's not the case. But then again, on the other hand, let's think about why EA would have scripting in their games. I'm not saying they do, but I'm thinking about why they could have scripting in their games and why they would do it. So like, let's think about this. A lot of these players are casual in the game, so EA want them to be able to play as much as possible and still have fun. So if they script games in order to, you know, allow the worser players to win games, it keeps them more engaged in the game and the series in general, meaning EA will get more money because they're more likely to buy things like packs. In addition to this, if you keep losing games in Ultimate Team, you immediately blame your team and your players specifically. Like, let's say your player missed an open goal, you're going to want to get rid of him. So this could lead you to buy packs, hence giving them more money because you want to get the better players. I don't think this is the case, but this is what some people think. But personally, I don't think scripting exists. Let's move on to the next one. So the next thing we're going to talk about is handicap, which we explained earlier, which is where people think EA are making their players worse or even better to, you know, make the game more competitive. Now again, I don't think this exists personally, and I do have some reasons for this, but I'm not gonna lie, this one had me questioning things for quite a while, because, you know, we've all had these games where like your team is much better than your opponent, but for some reason they seem to play a lot worse than if you were playing a better team. Does anybody feel that? Because I remember when I played #Boras, my team was nowhere near as good as his at the time. His wasn't actually fantastic, but it was, you know, notably better than mine. But I noticed that my players just seemed to do everything that I told them to. They seemed to be absolutely perfect, scoring every shot. But Boras's plays seem to be a bit more clunky. And then if I compare it to like me playing against a team of Martials and Gabriel Jesus, my players seem to be a lot worse, and I do often lose these games. So it got me wondering whether I think it's there. But then I always think, if this game had handicap, what would be the point of these pros having the best players? Surely they would, you know, feel that they play worse with these better players. Take Huge Gorilla, for example. He had to play, well, he didn't have to play, he decided to play a weekend league with like a 500k team compared to his usual icon team where he gets like 40 NOs and stuff like that, and he actually got like 32 wins in comparison. So in my opinion, it doesn't make sense to believe that handicap exists, because it's quite apparent that people with better players have an advantage in this game, particularly because it's more pay to win in my opinion than it ever is. And in addition to people believing that there's handicap there, they're also the same people which like go around saying credit card FC to people with good teams and then saying pay to win. So it just doesn't really add up, because if there is handicap, it wouldn't be pay to win, it would be pay to lose. Something which has a major link to this is bronze benching, which is something I actually do myself, and that is like putting players on the substitutes bench to lower the overall rating of your team. So like putting 48 rated bronzes opposed to your 85 rated gold players, you know, which would actually boost the rating. People seem to think if they lower the team rating, they get matched up against worse teams and they're less likely to be handicapped with their icons and stuff like that, because obviously if your team rating is like the same or lower than your opponent, they believe that they won't be handicapped. I only do this to be safe. I don't actually believe it's there. I just do it as more of like a precaution, and I don't know what else to do with the bench. I don't need like 6 players, so I do it just to I just do it because everyone else does it, to be honest. But yeah, to sum up, I don't think handicap exists personally. Now next up is momentum, and this one is actually quite an interesting one, because in EA's older games, they actually introduced a feature called momentum. I think it was FIFA 09 actually, which gave worse players like a boost in the game to make it more competitive and more fun. But they actually removed this feature because it wasn't very popular at all. Obviously, some people still think it's here, but I'm going to explain why I don't think there is, or not to the extent people think there is. Now, honestly, this one's actually quite hard for me to defend, because there are so many games where I feel like I just play so much worse when I'm winning and play much better when I'm losing. Like, if I'm winning by 2 goals, I feel like I'm going to lose. But anyway, the reason I don't think this actually exists is because I'm a firm believer that it's actually more of a mental thing than an actual game thing. So let's think about this. You've just gone like 2-0 up in a game. Your game plan is gonna change probably to be more defensive and keep your opponent out. So when you do that, you're like bringing pressure on yourself, allowing your opponent to get in the game a bit more. And when they start putting pressure on you, you start to panic, you start to get nervous, you make more mistakes, and then they eventually score. And then when that happens, it's like a snowball effect. You start to play really bad, they get another goal, and then obviously they're growing in confidence, meaning like they're gonna play even better, and then you're gonna play worse, and then you're gonna think there's momentum. But anyway, I just don't think it's there because I've felt the mental breakdowns in FIFA games before. Like, I've noticed when my opponent starts putting pressure on me, I play worse just because I can't focus as well or I'm nervous. And in addition to this, when I do score a goal when I'm losing, I get a massive like surge of confidence that comes into my game, and I start, believing that I can win the game a lot more, and my opponent obviously, feels that and they play worse as a result. But yeah, to sum it up, I don't think momentum exists personally. You guys might. If you think there is, just let me know why. But there are a few additional things which I want to talk about, such as like the 90th minute goals, the kickoff glitch, stuff like that. So to start, many people think like 90th minutes are rigged and 45th minutes as well. Like there's, equalizers in the last minute of the game, which to be honest, there is quite a lot of those in FIFA. But has anybody actually ever stopped to think why that might be? So if you think about it, 45th minutes and 90th minutes have added time, but it doesn't actually show that in FIFA. It just stays as the 90th minute. So essentially a 90th minute can be like 5 or 6 in-game minutes compared to like your usual, in-game minute, which is like 1 in-game minute. So if you think about it like this, you are technically 5 times as likely to score or concede in the 90th and 45th minutes because they are 5 times as long as the usual minutes, meaning there's, more time to actually score in them. And because there is so many 90th minute goals, people just seem to think they are rigged, and I don't particularly think they are. And in addition to what I just said, I believe it's more of like a mental thing as well. Like when you're approaching the final minute of a game, you're definitely going to be a lot more nervous. Like if you're trying to defend a 1-goal lead in the last minute of a game, like you're gonna panic a bit. You're gonna be a bit nervous because you feel like they might get like a last chance to score, and because you think like that, they quite often do. Similarly, if it's like the 90th minute and you have one attack to score, you're gonna focus a lot more. You're gonna try a lot harder to make the attack work, meaning you're more likely to score it. Now moving on to the kickoff glitch, this is just a strange one. I feel like it is more of a glitch than a scripting effect in the game, because it's just like your attacking players seem to have more of an advantage because your whole team runs at them. It's more of like a coding error, I think, because like it's just like your team's far too aggressive pushing up the pitch and the defensive team doesn't seem to do anything, meaning it's just a lot easier to score. And again, it also links into like that mental thing which I'm on about, like when you have to defend a kickoff, you're feeling a little bit nervous because you want to defend, you want to defend your lead and you feel like they might score, and you might be, like just be celebrating that you scored a goal and not actually focused on the game. So it's like a combination of these things, and it's more of like an issue which EA just can't get rid of. Like it's been like it every year. They fix it one way, like making your team spread out a bit more, push up a bit. There was the issue where they could like lob the ball over your defenders' heads then, and they've got a clear shot on goal. So like they can't really figure out a way to make it really balanced, so it's not so much of an issue for people. But my next and final point of discussion kind of links into this, because if you remember when they said they tried to fix the kickoff glitch, they like manipulated how the players would act, like the AI players would act from kickoffs. Like the attacking team would be less aggressive and the defensive team would be, more aware, more alert. So it got me wondering, when else do they do this in video, like in the game? Like when else do they edit the AI's aggression and stuff like that? Because there is quite often times where people like think their players aren't doing anything, and other times they feel like their team is pushing up and playing really well. So it just got me wondering, like, do EA manipulate like the AI in any way in certain in-game situations? And if they do, I don't feel like it favors one particular player. I feel like it's just like it in the game as a whole. Like For example, have you ever had a game where it's like a 6-5 in extra time or something like that? There's like 11 goals in the game. I feel like they probably just make the attacking teams more attacking and the defensive teams less defensive, just to like make it a bit more fun, add a bit of variation into the game. I don't know, because maybe if like every game was like 7-7, it'd be a bit boring and unrealistic. So maybe like they edit the gameplay as a whole and not just one specific team, if that makes any sense, because sometimes you might get a bore 1-1 draw, and then other times you'll get like a 7-7 thriller. So it's just more, you know, as a way to make the game more fun. I don't know. I'm just like clutching at straws here. I'm just making guesses. But anyway, guys, that just about sums it up for this video. If you have enjoyed it or found it informative, I would appreciate it if you could drop a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, so you never miss out on any videos like this one. And also keep those notifications on, or turn them on if you haven't got them on already, because I have a lot of videos coming out for you guys. I have a video coming out tomorrow against a German FIFA pro by the name of Daniel Fink, so that should be a great video for you guys to watch. But yeah, with that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you all later. Peace.